Nearly 50,000 striking GM workers may soon be back on the job. This comes after the United Auto Workers Union reached a proposed tentative deal with the company. The month-long strike has cost GM $1.5 billion. Rick Newman is still here with us. Rick, what can we No, we're glad to have you on the couch. So what can we expect out of this tentative deal?
The strike is probably over, but we're not at the finish line yet. So this is a deal between the negotiators. So the GM negotiators speak for GM, so GM's on board with this. The union negotiators, however, do need to take this deal. They haven't said exactly what is in the deal, so they need to take it back to all the local chapters. The chapter presidents have to say it looks good to us, and then there has to be a vote among the membership, and they have to approve it by simple majority. So that's probably going to happen, but we're not there yet.
You know, one of the key things that came out during the Democratic debates, they were talking about how to secure jobs for those workers that are on strike. And for example, when it comes to them demanding that GM actually make cars not in Mexico, but in the U.S., if they were president, how they would enforce that kind of a policy, to force a company like GM to do that. What do you think they should do here with the negotiations in terms of asking GM to be able to follow up on that?
Those were major sticking points. And one of the things the union wanted was for GM to move some production from Mexico back to the United States. I think there's no chance that the union got that deal. I can't imagine that GM would agree to that at this point after only a month, because those are long strategic decisions that have long-term implications. However, the union probably did get more job protections. They're probably going to get a faster transition for the temporary workers to become permanent workers. And the issue for GM here is GM knows that the way it makes cars is going to change in the next few years as we move over to electric cars and different types of technology. So as sort of a strategic battle, the union kind of wants to lock in the jobs of the present, which are going to become the jobs of the past at some point. Right. And GM doesn't want to get committed to employing people doing stuff they don't need workers to do anymore.
Well, and so what's to prevent this from happening again?
Well, let's see what's in the contract. So, they still have a large blue-collar workforce, and if you're GM, you need flexibility in how you make cars. You can't just be committed to, we always have to make cars with the same number of workers kind of doing the same thing on the same type of assembly line. In an ideal world, you would have ways for the workforce to get trained up on whatever's coming. And there would be, what happens if you don't need as many workers in the future, which is probably going to happen. GM wants to just not be committed to the workers, but from a policy perspective, you'd like to have a fallback for the workers. So they just don't say, okay, we're going to cut our workforce by 30%, another 10%, another 10%. I mean, what happens to those workers? So that's the whole question. And frankly, as a country, we have done very poorly with policies that help people whose jobs are kind of becoming obsolete.
Yep. Well, we'll see if this
deal... Not done well with that.
Yeah, well, we'll see if this deal actually gets finalized. Rick Newman, thanks so much.
Sure.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.